rejoice, and why not? 3 straight wins with 2 against nationally ranked teams. Army came marching in, and then the Black Knights ran all over the Owls to stay undefeated.
I'm Emily Dunateris, live at Pearson McGonigal Hall. Temple fencers not only jab and touch, but they're putting up points in the classroom. I'm Emily Dunateris, and OwlSports Update starts right now.
Hello all, and welcome to this edition of OwlSports Update. I am Julia Green, along with Michael Merville, who will join us in a minute. Coming up, back-to-back wins against nationally ranked teams for field hockey. Football gets a black eye against the Black Knights, and we will dip into the club scene with men's ice hockey. But first, a scary scene for the Temple Sports Complex for 2 field hockey teams visiting North Broad. Let's bring in my partner, Michael Merville, who is at the studio set to explain. Hi, Michael.
Yes, Julia. Temple and surrounding communities were rocked when gunshots erupted near Howarth Field during a field hockey game on Friday. LaSalle and St. Louis were facing off on Temple's turf field as shots rang at a nearby Kentucky Fried Chicken parking lot. No one on the field was hurt, but it did send players, coaches, and fans running for cover. 10 minutes remained in the fourth quarter as multiple shots were heard nearby the field. Players who were at first confused then evacuate and duck for cover.
There were some loud noises, and it looks like players are evacuating the field right now.
The match was being broadcasted on ESPN+. The man on the mic is OwlSports Update alum Jake Gable. It was his first ever call on ESPN+.
It was scary just kind of being helpless because I can't do anything to help those people. I'm just watching, and like, you know, any second someone's life could have ended right there. So it was really just hoping everything would be okay, and thankfully it turned out that way. But you know, ideally that situation never happens in the first place, which is really the main problem.
Temple released a statement regarding the shooting, saying law enforcement cleared the area and ensured that it was safe, at which point both teams left the facility. University officials are reaching out to leadership at LaSalle and St. Louis University. And again, no one was hurt. After the shooting, the game was called early, and LaSalle was credited with the win. No arrests have been made. However, Philadelphia police say the investigation is still active. Reporting from the studio set, I am Michael Merville. Julia, back to you.
Temple field hockey was on the same field Friday and Sunday. In both games, the Owls faced off against nationally ranked teams. First Friday against the 18th ranked Dominion in a conference game. Both teams played a defensively strong game. Goaltender Isabella Ospitali was effective in net, stopping all 4 shots that came her way. Still scoreless at the end of regulation, the teams head into overtime. Only 4 minutes into extra time when Mirth Schollenberg takes the shot to win it for the Owls. It's Temple's first win against the Monarchs, dating back to 2016. Next victim, Sunday against 20th ranked Monmouth. The first half, both teams played strong defensively, leaving the game scoreless. Monmouth opens up the scoring on a penalty shot. The Owls then enter the scoring column with a goal by Peyton Rieger. Only a minute later, the Hawks strike again. Another penalty stroke for the Owls, and Devin Kinzel ties the game, and we're headed to extra play. With 2 minutes left in overtime, Tess Mueller finds the back of the net. Another game, another walk-off. Temple wins 3-2 and grabs back-to-back wins against ranked opponents for the first time in program history.
Coming off the first win of the season against Utah State, the Owls try and duplicate the same magic here against Army. To start off in the first, Noah Short runs 61 yards unattended with nobody near to give Army its first points on the board, and now they have 7. It's part of the day that saw Temple give up more than 400 rushing yards. Here is another example of issues within Temple's run defense as Army QB runs in for 8 yards and the touchdown. Temple cannot answer as Army scores twice more. The Owls finally show signs of life with a 29-yard pass to Dante Wright to give the Temple its first 6 points. The Owls score again with a 54-yard pass to Daniel Everett, who crosses a defender for the touchdown. The Owls now decide to go for 2, and with pressure, Evan Simon passes through the middle to bring the Owls within 14. But Army responds with its only passing touchdown that came in the 4th to end the bout. Your final in Lincoln Financial, Army 42, Temple 14.
We now bring onto the desk Inside the Nest anchor Sam Cavone to talk more Temple football. Hey, Sam.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Well, Sam, to start off, obviously we know Temple's record 1-4 to start off this year. Obviously, against Army, they ran 400-plus rushing yards. What are you seeing?
So this Temple team just isn't focused on both sides of the ball. We can start with defense. They're missing opportunities all over the place. The Temple defense knew exactly what Army was going to come in here and do. They've been doing it all season, and that is running the ball. Temple just missed tackles. They didn't have any turnovers. There's only been 1 turnover this season. And then on the offensive side, the offense just fell off. After that holding call called a touchdown back in one of the first plays of the game, the offense never got back on the right track, and it just plagued the entire game.
So, Sam, is there a quarterback update?
As of right now, there is not. Both quarterbacks are dealing with injuries. Evan Simon has an injury to his SC joint in his right shoulder, his throwing shoulder. He sustained that in the game against Army during one of the last plays. Forrest Brock, on the other hand, got injured against Navy. He isn't 100%, but he's doing better, Stan Drayton says. In my opinion, I think it might just be a game day decision like Stan Drayton has done in the past with these scenarios.
At the beginning of the season, it looked like this would be a good opportunity for the Owls to get a road win, but UConn's a much improved team. Why?
You know, you're completely right about that. Last season, UConn was 3-9 on the year. Right now, they're sitting at 3-2, but it definitely helps when you have a quarterback who is throwing for more than 700 yards a game after coming back from an injury last season. And then this team also hands off the ball to get the team running. They pass deep, and the quarterback is running. This is why this team is 11th in the FBS in rushing yards. And then it also helps when your defense is on point, when your defense is forcing turnovers, getting to the quarterback. Everything is cohesive with this UConn team, which makes it better, and which is the reason they're blowing out their opponents.
Well, Sam, moving on to the rest of the season, the Owls will face mostly conference teams like Tulane, like North Texas. How do the Owls fare against these teams for the rest of the season?
So I definitely think that this UConn matchup will set the tone for how the Owls go about this, especially since there's a bye week coming out after this. Tulsa, it's a potential win. It's homecoming. You always want to win at homecoming. Tulsa is facing Army soon, so that'll give a little more insight just to see how Temple can stop Tulsa if Tulsa ends up stopping Army. And then Tulane has had recent success. They're only falling to ranked teams, which says a lot. And then North Texas is definitely going to be a tall task for Temple. They're a pass team, so Temple's definitely going to need to do better at tackling, do better at covering, pressure the quarterback even more. And I think if they can do that, they might get the win, but you never know.
Well, Sam, that's all we have for the desk. For you on the desk, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You can catch Sam Cavone on Tuesdays with the rest of the crew, catching you up on the latest for Temple football on Inside the Nest at noon on TUTV.
Sam mentioned it. The Owls are really struggling to stop the run. Time to bring in OwlSports Update's Owen Hill. He was at the game Thursday and joins us live at the studio set. Hey, Owen.
Thanks, Michael. Temple's defense has struggled to stop the run game all season, and their game last Thursday against Army was a prime example of what happens when teams just run and run and run. Another week, another tough game for Temple football.
Got to give them the credit. They were prepared and physical, and they did what they've been doing all year. And we did a bad job of responding.
This Army loss is, so far, the best example of Temple's struggles to stop the run game. The Black Knights rushed for 417 yards. This has helped Army move into first place nationally in rushing yards per game.
Yeah, we give credit to them. They had a great game plan. You know, they executed at a high level. You know, we wish we could have got some runs back, but we're going to go watch film tomorrow and see what we can get fixed.
We really got to address what's going on with the defense interior. We got to figure that piece of it out.
And it wasn't just Temple stopping the run. The Owls were unable to put together a run game of their own. Temple rushed for -5 yards on 22 carries.
I believe in that team in that room. We were a much better football team that we put on display today. And we're just going to buckle up and just go back to work and try to figure it out.
The good news, Army's done. The bad news, UConn is next. The Huskies are ranked 11th in the nation in rushing yards per game, so Temple will once again be tested. UConn is averaging over 215 rush yards per game, which is something Temple is going to have to try to stop if they want to come out with the win. I'm Owen Hill. Guys, back to you at the desk.
Here is what you will need to know for the Owls matchup against the Huskies. This Saturday, kickoff at 3:30 in East Hartford. UConn is 3-2. This is the program's best year in many years. UConn hasn't finished the season above 500 since 2010, and a lot of the credit is going to the offense, which is something Stan Drayton says the Owls are aware of.
UConn's going to run the stretch, and you know the quarterback's a really good football player. So those running backs are the real deal. You know, so we have to get off blocks, defeat blocks, try to play behind the line of scrimmage, and we have to tackle. That's what it is. We have not. I think our tackling kind of went down absolutely against Army, and we cannot do that against a good UConn football team. Those running backs are the real deal.
We are up for the first break of the day. When we return, we will talk about the new men's basketball conference schedule.
Plus, back to field hockey. You don't beat two nationally ranked teams without great leadership. We'll take a look when we come back.
Welcome back to OwlSports Update. Temple Hoops has released the conference portion of its schedule this upcoming winter season. We have OwlSports Update's Kayla Strickland to explain more about who the Owls will face. Hey, Kayla.
Hi there. Yes, Temple will play 13 non-conference games before getting into conference play just after the new year. Here is the early to mid-January stretch that includes 3 home games and 3 away games. The first 3 games are all against teams that finished last season below 500 in conference. It includes Wichita State, East Carolina, and Rice. The Owls will then take on Memphis. This will be the Owls' first conference game after students get back from winter break. The January stretch continues with Tulane and then a trip to North Texas. Again, overall, only 2 of these 6 teams finished above 500 in conference last season. So there may be an opportunity for Temple to get off to a nice start in 2024 to 2025. That's a small rundown on the start of the conference schedule. The overall season starts in about 1 month, November 4th, against Sacred Heart at the Leocourt Center. From the studio set, I'm Kayla Strickland. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Kayla. Now back to field hockey. The Owls captain Devin Kinzel impact on the team can't go unnoticed. She is the team leader in goals, and her performances and leadership have helped the Owls with those wins this past weekend. OwlSports Update's Derek Fenton takes a look.
Senior captain Devin Kinzel is making her final season at North Broad count.
Bring everyone up. I'm a team player. I'll put everyone before me every time.
Kinzel and company are coming straight off those back-to-back wins against 2 nationally ranked teams this past weekend. And number 7 is leading the way with a team-high 6 goals on the year.
She's been a leader since she got here. So I think for me, she was voted as a captain by her teammates sophomore year. Really she kind of played a significant amount of minutes in the freshman year, so got a tremendous amount of opportunity to lead.
Kinzel's impact goes well beyond the stats. As a team captain, she sets the tone with her hard work and dedication, both in practice and during games.
With her senior season underway, Kinzel continues to have an impact on the team. She's currently leading the Owls to their third straight winning season.
Kinzel continues to be a leader. She has had a major impact with the Owls, being en route to their third straight winning season.
You know, a goal is just one goal. 2 goals is 2 goals. They can score on us, we can score on them. So always just keeping game mentality and staying in it, staying fighting.
And the hardest part for Temple is coming up. 5 of its next 8 games are in conference. Fighting is something the Owls have done well so far this season, thanks to Kinzel leading the way. Reporting from Howarth Field, I'm Derek Fenton, Owl Sports Update.
This Friday, the Owls take on 18th ranked Liberty in a 1 p.m. matchup. It's Temple's third straight game against a nationally ranked team. But this one is different. It's on the road, where the Owls are just 1-4. We are headed to our second break of the day. When we return, Owl Sports Update, Emily Dino-Terrace tells us how Temple fencing is putting the student in the term student athlete.
We will be back in just 90 seconds. Welcome back. Temple took on Tulsa in a back-and-forth contest at home. The Owls get on the board early as Yao Zhu scores her second goal of the season to put the Owls with up 1. The Owls had 10 shots on goal throughout the match. Tulsa responds with back-to-back goals of its own, 8 minutes apart, which left the Owls at a 2-1 deficit. Before closing out the half, Shari Atkins puts Temple back in it with a goal of her own to bring the score to 2 apiece. This was Atkins' third goal of the season. However, it was not enough as Tulsa scores in the 56th minute and the Owls have no answer. Your final in the Temple Sports Complex, Tulsa 3, Temple 2. The Owls are back on the field for a Thursday night head-to-head in Texas against the Rice Owls. Temple looks to win its first conference match this season against the Rice team that hasn't lost at home all 9 tries. The kickoff starts at 7 p.m. and will broadcast live on ESPN+.
Temple fencing is known for its clever skills on the strip, but many of the Owls are also proving to be skilled in the classroom. Owl Sports Update's Emily Dino-Terrace is live at Pearson Hall. Emily, on guard.
Thanks, Julia. Natalie Adams-Kim joined the Temple fencing team this past season, and she's been a valuable member of the team since. It's not just her talent on the strip, but she's pretty smart too.
Temple's fencing has proven to be one of the top programs in the country, but it doesn't stop there. This Parliament of Owls is also one of the top academic squads in the country. Last season, fencing won a team-wide all-academic award, along with 8 individuals taking a Scholar of Distinction award. Junior Natalie Adams-Kim is one of those receiving that Scholar of Distinction.
Balancing a double major and being an athlete is definitely a difficult task, but it's taught me grit. You really need to just persevere through balancing both the athletics and the academics.
We also work hard to have them know, always be ready to be flexible because things can change. And I think that's a great skill for these highly accomplished people like Natalie to have to manage, because sometimes things have to be so structured for them to be successful.
Scholar of Distinction is an award given to student athletes who have a grade point average of 3.7 or higher during the season.
It's an honor. I know I'm lucky to be here. I'm lucky to be on the team, and I definitely would not be able to get any sort of academic or athletic award if it weren't for coaches, teammates, classmates, professors.
Natalie is a junior. Last season, in her first year at Temple, she finished 23 and 15 in her foil competitions, and she made second team for the National Intercollegiate Women's Fencing Association.
Natalie and the Owls start off their season this Friday at a preseason event at the USA Fencing North America Cup in New Jersey. Live at Pearson McGonigal Hall, I'm Emily Dino-Terrace. Guys, back to you in Studio TV3.
Thanks, Emily. Temple's own Gemma Vollenschlager has been named the U.S. Rowing Para-National Team Female Athlete of the Year following her success at the Paris Games. Vollenschlager competed as part of the Team USA on the mixed 4 boat, which won the silver medal at the 2024 Paralympic Games. When asked about the award, Vollenschlager thanked her teammates and coaches and called a couple months at the Paralympic Games the most unforgettable experience of her life. We are now headed to our final break of the day. When we come back, we take center ice to talk Temple hockey and the Swiss sensation.
OwlSports Update will continue in just a moment. Welcome back. Temple club sports don't often attract international attention, but the men's ice hockey team is doing just that. OwlSports Update's Sarah Winton is live at the studio set to explain. Hey, Sarah.
Thanks, Mikey. Yes, we know hockey is an international sport, so maybe it shouldn't be a huge surprise that the men's club team has just picked up a recruit from more than 4,000 miles away. That's a long trip across the Atlantic.
Jonah Bortone has taken a unique path to Philadelphia. He's a 21-year-old freshman from Switzerland, but number 29 is playing like a veteran for Temple ice hockey.
I'm a Euroside guy, so I think I just bring a little bit more fantasy to the game of this team. That's it. And I just skate. That's it.
But when Bortone just skates, good things happen. He scored 2 goals and has 3 assists for the Owls so far this season, helping bring the team's record to 4-1-1. Bortone's international experience started with youth hockey and now includes semi-pro and senior league experience in Switzerland.
The way he thinks the game is on a different level, right? So just like helping others get up to that level of hockey IQ, I think is important for him.
Bortone's journey from Switzerland to Philadelphia has brought a fresh international perspective to Temple's ice hockey team. His experience playing overseas has not only sharpened his skills, but also helped him quickly adapt to the North American style of play.
And he's a proven champion, with titles in a U20 league, not to mention another semi-pro league.
I want to bring this team to another level, and yeah, I'm very ambitious, I will say.
Overall, Jonah's goal for the season is to help bring the team to the national championship. But for now, it's about winning the next game, which is Friday against a Rutgers team that is 1-3 so far this season.
After the home game on Friday against Rutgers, the two teams will match up again on Saturday, but this time up in North Jersey. Reporting live from the studio set, I'm Sarah Winton. Guys, back to you on the desk.
Thanks, Sarah. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. In 1 week, you can catch Natalie Caranda and Gabriel Liddington live at noon talking the latest in OwlSports. You can also watch the Sports Brief on social media on Mondays and Inside the Nest live on Tuesdays on TUTV.
She is Julia Green and I am Michael Merville. Stay safe and have a good weekend.